Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we'll be seeing about the question paper and scheme, that is the mark split up and the method to present your answer in the final exam. That will be discussed for basic electronics for EEE stream, that is electrical and electronics engineering stream. The subject code is BBEE10 or 203. So if you're going to take it in the first semester cycle, your code will be 103. Second semester cycle, your code will be 203. So we'll move into the questions and the scheme. In this video, we'll be seeing module 1, 2 and third first half of the question and the answer. So module 1, explain forward and reverse characteristics of semiconductor diode for 8 marks. Calculate forward and reverse resistance where they have given IF at VR and they have assumed that the silicon diode is having VF to be 0.75 volt and the reverse current IR is given. So you will be with this you will be calculating the forward and reverse resistance. C question is, what is the piecewise linear characteristics? With neat diagram explain diode approximation of ideal diode and practical diode. That carries 8 marks. Or choice is working of full wave bridge rectifier. Second is explain Zener diode as voltage regulator with no load and with load. C question is illustrate RC pi filter, which is for 6 marks. So coming to the scheme, let us see about the forward and reverse characteristics of semiconductor diode. So you obviously know when you draw a diode how the current passes through and what is the forward characteristics and negative characteristics. Sorry, that is reverse characteristics. So forward characteristics carries 2 marks and reverse characteristics carries 4 marks. So you will be drawing this figure and explaining what is forward and reverse characteristics. So each contains 2 marks, so totally 4 marks, and the explanation carries 4 marks. So totally it is of 8 marks. So second question was IF was given, VR was given, VF was given. They asked you to find out the forward and reverse resistance. So forward resistant RF is equal to resistance is equal to voltage by current. So if it is forward, then forward voltage divided by the forward current. You will be formulating it, and the same wise for reverse characteristics, reverse resistance, VR by IR. So substitute the values and get the answer. So for the calculation it carries 2 marks and formula carries 2 marks, so totally it is of 4 marks. And C question was, what is a linear characteristics, piecewise linear characteristics, and they told you to derive about the ideal and practical diode. So the explanation of what is piecewise linear characteristic carries maybe 1 mark, and ideal and practical diode. So you'll be drawing this figure carries 2 marks and explanation of this carries 2 marks, so totally 4 marks. The same thing for the practical diode carries 4 marks, so totally it is of 8 marks. So this is the first set of or choice question in module 1. The second set of or choice in module 1 is 2A was explain full wave bridge rectifier. So the circuit carries 3 marks. Circuit with the graph carries 3 marks, and explanation how the circuit functions and how the graph is generated carries 5 marks. So totally it is of 8 marks. B was Zener diode with and without load. Zener diode as a voltage regulator with load and without load. So without load the diagram and with load diagram. So the figure carries 2 marks, that is without load 1 mark, with load 1 mark, so totally 2 marks. Explanation for this carries 2 marks and equations for these two carries 2 marks. So totally it is of 6 marks. C question was RC pi filter. So RC pi filter, you will be drawing the circuit, and that is the circuit carries 2 marks and the expression all carries 2 marks and the explanation carries 2 marks. So totally it is of 6 marks. Next, entering into module 2, explain output characteristics of transistor in common base configuration. Second is describe the procedure for drawing DC load line on transistor CE output characteristics, that is common emitter characteristics. Calculate IC and IE for a transistor where they have given DC, that is IB current, and also they are asked to determine the value of beta DC for the transistor. Alpha DC is also given. The or choice will be explain common emitter input characteristics, explain how transistor can be used as current amplifier, explain the working of N channel JFET. So these are the set of questions. So the scheme for these set of question, what was the first question? Output characteristics of transistor, right? So the circuit carries 2 marks. The characteristics, output characteristics carries 2 marks and the explanation carries 2 marks. So totally it is of 6 marks. And B question was DC load line, right? So the circuit carries 1 mark and the characteristics carries 3 marks. That is the output CE, common emitter characteristic, plus the DC load line characteristic. So totally it carries 3 marks, and explanation like how the DC load line and CE characteristics is formed. Explanation carries 3 marks, and equation VCC, that is VCC minus IC RC minus VCE is equal to 0. So how, what is VCE? Finding out the equation carries 1 mark. So totally it is of 8 marks. C question was finding out IC and IE. So they have already given a set of beta DC values, alpha DC values. So with that you will be going to find what is IC and IE. So the formula for IC is alpha DC IB by 1 minus alpha DC. So the values will be substituted and the corresponding calculation should be done. For IE, IC divided by alpha DC. So the corresponding values are sorted out, that is the required output is taken, and for beta DC, alpha DC by 1 minus alpha DC is your beta DC. So the values you have to substitute and get the answer. So the formula when you write, it carries 1 marks. So one formula carries 1 mark. So you have 3 formulas here, so it is 3 marks, and substitution with the exact answer carries 3 marks. So totally it is of 6 marks. So the odd choice for module 2 is, the first question was CE, that is common emitter input characteristics. So the circuit diagram carries 1 marks. Sorry, the characteristic carries 3 marks, and the explanation for this characteristics carries 3 marks. So totally it is of 6 marks. And the B question was current amplifier. So the circuit diagram carries 2 marks, explanation carries 3 marks, and the equation beta DC is equal to delta IC by delta IB, which carries 1 mark. So totally it is of 6 marks. C question was N channel JFET. So you will be drawing the JFET circuit, N channel JFET circuit. So all these figures carries 4 marks, but the explanation carries another 4 marks. So totally it is of 8 marks. Moving to module 3, first half. The next OR choice will be seen in the next series of the videos. So this is the first OR choices. First question is explain inverting and non-inverting amplifier. Define op-amp. Mention any 5 ideal characteristics of op-amp and draw a summer circuit with V1 they have given, V2 they have given, V3, and you have to determine the output voltage RF. So output voltage when RF is equal to 3 kilo ohm. So fifth question was explaining inverting and non-inverting amplifier. So the diagram carries diagram for inverting amplifier with the circuit diagram, and explanation carries 4 marks. That is 2 marks for your circuits and 2 marks for your explanation. And non-inverting amplifier circuit carries 2 marks and explanation carries 2 marks. So totally it is of 4 marks, and both together it is 8 marks. B question is op-amp. So definition of op-amp carries 1 marks, and ideal characteristics of you have to determine the 5 ideal characteristics of op-amp. Each carries 1 mark, so it is 5 marks. With the definition it is totally 6 marks. And C question is you have to draw the summer circuit. So see how the summer circuit is drawn, and you have to find the output voltage V0, that is minus RF by R, into V1 plus V2 plus V3. So substitute the values inside that and get the required answer. So the equation carries 2 marks, circuit diagram carries 2 marks, so totally 4 marks, and substituting and getting the exact answer carries 2 marks, so totally it is of 6 marks. So hope you have understood how you have to present your paper in the final exam. Stay tuned for more information. Thank you.